Welcome back. Today on All in Survival, we're going to talk about medical. Most people have seen this kit in a couple of different videos. I figured it was about time to go ahead and take a look what was inside, talk about the reason why you might want to have a kit like this, and give you some suggestions to put your own kit together. All right, well, welcome back. And today we're going to talk about medical stuff. And since I despise doing tabletop review type stuff, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the kit. I've got it hanging up right here, so if you see me looking right here, I'm actually looking at the kit. I'm also going to drop pictures and some explanations inside, probably here. All right. So this kit is by a gentleman who's in Canada, and Canadian prepper designed this bug out bag slash medical kit. It's not cheap. It's about $130, and I really liked the functionality of this kit. So I went ahead and bought that as a bag. It's just empty. Anyways, you put anything you want in it. The kit is robust, and it goes basically from top to bottom on medical needs. Now, I am not an EMT, paramedic, blah, blah, blah. I'm a law enforcement, prior military. I've used a tourniquet in theater, in real world application. I've also used been there when they were using a chest seal. I've seen some pretty gnarly stuff. And if I look back on my training in the military, they didn't really care that much about the medical side of it until probably OAF 2, 3, 4. They started being like, hey, obviously our soldiers are not doing really good in the combat lifesaver side of it. So I know that when I went into Iraq for the invasion of Baghdad, I had the one field dressing that was normally sit in a little pouch, right? Terrible. I mean, they didn't give anything else out. The lifesavers had the same combat lifesaver bag as they always did, and they were handed a couple of little vials of morphine, which they protected like like it was gold. So that being said, there were multiple situations overseas where I saw that medical training would have been a bonus, and for that I'm actually eternally sorry, because there would have been situations where I could have saved somebody and didn't have the training. So once again, I'm not an EMT, I'm not a medical professional, I'm in law enforcement, and I do have some training. Recently, I've given this bag to a paramedic firefighter and asked them to go through the bag and write down some suggestions. So this has been an evolution of equipment. The bag itself is broken down into several smaller compartments, and I've labeled them, and I'll put a little thing in there. I've labeled them small, medium, and large compartments. There's 3 small, 8 medium, and 3 large. And we'll go ahead and go through those from top to bottom. Now, small number 1 is got your gloves. It's got 5 different pack latex. We prefer not to use those these days, but latex style gloves. The next one is got trauma shears, and what I also think is pretty important is burn ointment and creams. If you get into a situation where somebody's got some pretty major burns, you want to try and get something cooling on that as quickly as possible. The next compartment right on the very top is a tourniquet and combat gauze. It's got the right amounts of the hemostatic type agents in it to put pressure on it and potentially stop the bleeding. So now we'll go down to the next level, and the next level is got and I'm going to jack this up, Nasopharynggeal. It's to open up an airway. It's also got 2 of those and 2 of the gels that go with it, right? In that is actually a skin stapler for open wounds. I wouldn't suggest anybody using that unless you absolutely had to, but I needed to find a pocket for it, and that kind of fit. The next one over is got a snake bite kit. It's got these little vials of iodine and alcohol for sterilizing wounds, and it also has a couple of chem sticks. Those are just basically to light up the area if you happen to have this in the middle of the night. Medium number 3 is also got some Celox gauze for large, and it's got a number of different paddings and material to soak up blood and clean the area around a wound. Medium number 4 has got a lot of the normal Band-Aids, Steri-Strips, triple ointments. There's numerous different types of ointments there. I'm going to show a picture here, and like I said, it's got everything from anti-itch to burn, and there's quite a few different types of ointments there. And these little vials of iodine if you need to get something disinfected pretty quickly. The next is going to be a large container, large section, and that one's got a Israeli bandage made for an abdominal wound, and also a couple of the smaller ones made for maybe arms or legs, extremity type work. Looks like there's also a bandage, a nylon style band tape in there. Medium number 5 and 6 are basically for absorption of liquids if you get a shot wound or something like that. And there's some more Celox products there. One of them is a plunger that you actually put into a gunshot wound on the entry and exit wound, and it will hopefully stop the bleeding. Large number 2 has got more trauma bandages. There's 4 in there, 2 different kinds, and some more Celox for stopping the bleeding. Different products. There's a couple of different products there, and once again, anybody who's seen this in real life, it can be amazing the first couple of times on how wet and how out of control the scene feels to have all this going on. God forbid it's multiple gunshot wounds or an explosion of some sort. That's it's almost overwhelming. So we need to have plenty of those type of products there. The next one is going to be tapes and gauze. At some point, you've got your bandages on and your bleeding is somewhat controlled. You're going to need to tape everything up for transport. There's a few different types of tape there. Medium number 8 is actually got different types of Tylenol, Advil, anti-nausea, anti-diarrhea, pills of different sorts. There's a little vial there of aspirin, just regular aspirin, and a little vial of Benadryl. In that pack, there is also a eye wound kit, including a patch, the ability to cover their eyes in case maybe it was a flash burn, and some rinse, eye wash rinse. What else is in there? There's also a kit there to take out splinters. My mom even donated a pair of old glasses that are magnification, and that can help with small items trying to get those out of the skin. The last container is a large one, and that's basically for sprains and breaks. There are 3 different types of cold compacts. There's a SAM splint in there for immobilization. There's a pair of scissors and a triangle bandage for the good old shoulder splints or whatever you may need that for. There's also a big clip to be able to clip those together and hold everything in place. All right. In just a moment, we're going to go and jump to the next section and talk about why we might want to have these. All right, so when we're thinking about preparedness, we have to understand who we are and what our limitations are. So once again, I've said it numerous times, I'm not a medic of any kind, but I am in a profession where if there's something tragic happening, I will go towards the sound of gunfire instead of away. I keep this kit in my car. We have plenty of first aid stuff here in the house. I just showed a video on some of the first aid stuff that's going to be in my wife's car and my daughter's car. The one in my wife's car is also very robust because she's in the medical industry and I know her. Even though she would tell herself, it's not safe, I should leave the scene of this accident, I should leave mass casualty event, she's going to want to help. And so I've given her a first aid kit that's got the equipment for her to be able to best help in those situations. Even though I wish she would be like, this is not safe and leave, she's gonna do what she's gonna do, and that's okay. That's who she is. Same with myself. At the end of the day, I might tell myself I was stupid for staying in a hot zone or trying to drag people to safety, but I know myself, and there are many people like that out there in the world today. So understand who you are. You wouldn't want to be caught with your pants down and need a tourniquet or need some of these products that can stop bleeding and not have them. That's even more frustrating. In fact, I've been in that situation, and I promised myself at that point that I would never do that again. All right, so let's talk about the last thing. So how much money should you be spending on a first aid kit? Well, that's a personal preference. However, this kit is sitting in my truck, and I go everywhere, right, with the family, and we go out and about, and it only takes one accident, and I have to use some of this stuff for my son, my daughter, or my wife, and I believe that it's all paid for, and it's worth every penny. So you have to consider what your possible scenarios are and how far you will be from medical help. I know that I have a new truck, and we're in the process of getting it set up for some adventure type stuff, and we're going to be pretty far away from medical help. So having the ability to do most of that traumatic injury type stuff is a bonus. All right, well, by now you've seen all the pictures. We've talked a little bit about the products, and I'm going to put a link in the description for Canadian Prepper's site. Check these out. I've been watching his videos for numerous years, and he's excellent. So go ahead and give him a shout out. And as always, stay safe out there.